Hey everybody, it's me, John Caspian, and I am joined here with Rickey Kia, the Giga-Bites champion for Necromunda, and our skirmish games for 40K, etc. at the store, right?
Yeah, that's
How's it
right.
going, Ricky? You having a good day so far?
I'm having a great day. Yeah, it's a great
Nice.
summer day. And,
That's awesome. We have a whole bunch to talk about, but first, what I want to do is get some background on you. If you could tell us a little bit about how you got into Necromunda as your main game that you champion at the store, and also just your history with Giga in general.
awesome. Well, my history with Giga started probably about, I would say, 5 years ago, when it was Giga 1, actually. I went in there to play some Pathfinder, and then when they were Giga 2, I actually lived behind them. So I became more frequent as a Magic Gathering player and started getting into 40K
Mm-hmm.
in that way. So I got involved in the community. At the time, there was a club there called Rolling Bones, and that's kind of how I got into Necromunda. A group of people there started bringing back Community Edition, and then I fell in love with my the LAC gang, and then it kind of died down. And then I bought a house up north, and I kind of stopped going to Giga for a little bit because of life issues. And then once Giga 3 opened, I came back. Well, here I am.
That is
Um,
that is awesome. How did you get into Necromunda in particular?
well, in Necromunda, what I like about it is I'm a role player by heart.
Mm-hmm.
I always believe I could role play Monopoly. You know, yeah, we run bi-weekly Pathfinder games here at my house. So it's quite. I like the aspect of your characters growing or possibly dying, the experience gained, the experience spending. So it's always been quite a fascination of mine. Like Mordheim is the fantasy equivalent to
Yes.
Necromunda,
Uh-huh.
and I heard that's making a resurgence here pretty soon. Um, so Necromunda has always interested me because of the sci-fi element, right? Everyone loves that, the cyberpunk element, the grim dark, the gang aspect. Um, when I was younger, I was really big into Rifts and Shadowrun, which is very cyberpunk based. So this just follows right into that, and it's almost hard not to fall in love with it. However, Necromunda involves quite a community to keep going. You just
Mm-hmm.
can't. I guess you can meet up with one other person to play, but you don't get that gang, turf warfare feeling unless you have a community behind it. And very fortunate that there's a big gig of following for that need for the role playing aspect
Yeah,
of.
I remember when it first came out, um, and the two-player starter Escher versus Goliath, and people were like, okay, either you loved either of those two, or you kind of weren't terribly interested in it. And then before you know it, Orlox and then Van Sar just look freaking amazing. And they have the Cotter that just got announced and whatnot, and all of those. It feels really cool to have these people who are on the bottom half of the totem pole compared to like souped up space marines. It's very much the Imperial Guard feeling where like you make do with what you can.
Right, and these people that you're playing with, keep in mind these are the workers in the factories and the foundries. You week to week in a campaign, you'll actually earn your income for running, for working in the foundries and inside the sector mechanicus and things like that. So I do a
Interesting.
lot of publications and marketing materials based on you receive the local information from the the area's governor and things like
So
that.
what is the
So
campaign structure that's going to be for the Gigabytes campaign you're running in a couple of weeks?
okay, so Necromunda, the just a nutshell, the lore is based on the hive. Um, hive. It's a big hive city, and the Underhive, which is the resurgence of the new rule set and all that. The
Mm-hmm.
Underhive is an uh, ever growing unknown area beneath the city. There's ancient technology down there that no one's uncovered. Cartographers dare go that far, but the gangs are brave enough to um, delve deep into the depths and locate new riches and claim that newfound turf as their own. Well, the narrative for this campaign is your gang who's just growing. They find out through a local media that earthquake has opened a rift to a zone, a dome, an
Hmm.
area inside the city that's never been discovered before. So all the gangs are going to go to try to lay stake in this new zone, and the zone is called Giga-Folly.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
It's a 6-week campaign. It's a 4-based campaign. Um, on the 7th week, it will be apotheosis, so a climax, and we hope to crown somebody the overlord at the end of the 7 weeks. Then we will take a break. We'll probably spin into a kill team or shadow war campaign
Hmm.
that will go for another 6 weeks, and then we'll come back for season 2 of this campaign. There's actually downtime where your curve size shrinks. You get to retire your fighters, bring fighters out of retirement.
Huh.
It'll be pretty exciting for people who want to stick around. This isn't just a one-time.
That's interesting. Okay. So when you're playing in a typical 40K campaign, sometimes you have characters, but this is really more of the character heavy.
Oh yeah, you're gonna fall in love with some. You're gonna have your MVPs. You're probably gonna cry a little, maybe get a little upset when your MVP dies. But your characters just don't die. They can get humiliated. They can get head injury. They can get a leg injury, a back injury that can lower their stats. But there is growth as well. Your characters do promote. They get new skills.
Hmm.
The attributes can continue to grow. So if you have list skill of a 4 up, at some point in the campaign you can become a 2 up,
That's cool.
2+.
Now you had
So
mentioned
it's
to me before our interview here that you're using a third-party software to manage it.
Yeah, third-party site. It's called yaktribe.games. It's a huge, huge, huge Necromunda community that's in the UK. They actually help sponsor a lot of GW events, such as the London GT that happened recently. They're a really great community. They have all the resource tools, and they work really close with community leaders at GW to help revise any rules that come out, FAQs and things like that. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of community leaders even inside Yak Tribe that you reach out and communicate with them through the messenger or hop on their Discord. I always have a Discord up, and there's a lot of helpful information and new tips and tricks you can follow along with that stream as well.
Okay, that's cool. And then once you register, you can be actually part of the Giga campaign.
Absolutely. Once you register, you don't really have to start building your gang. You register on there, go to the menu under Hive Tools. You can create any gang, any number of gang you want. If you want to, just go ahead and create your gang name and then message me, PM me the gang name. I can add you right to the Giga-Folly campaign.
Oh, sweet.
And you can, on that page, you can actually see yourself. You can see every other participant, their current rating, their gang size. You could see the weekly event because not this season, but the next season to come, we'll be utilizing the campaign weekly events that are in Gang War 3 book, which will be things like the zone is now flooding, or there's a riot with the foundry workers. It can impact your income gained every week. It can impact your gang growth. It can impact your turf size. So season 1, we're going to just let people get their feet wet. And then season 2, we're really going to throw some hard balls at the gangs because we can't have all the people who stuck around being too powerful. So we need to be able to invite more people in. And I think
if any gangs are released during the campaign, will they be available to switch halfway through, or you have to wait till next season?
So a local player of ours, Adam, he right now is running a Condor gang.
Okay.
So GW was really great at providing legacy rules for all the for the 6 base houses. So right now, the only ones you're missing is Potto and Delac. We only have 2 more left. But when Goliath and Escher first released, all the 4 other gangs, there was a legacy document with all the rules in it, and that's available from download on Necromunda.com, which is GW's parent site.
Mm-hmm. And then you can actually print out the cards from your current gang list, so you can go to your printer and then cut out the cards, right?
Absolutely. Once you create your gang, now keep in mind that the tool is live. It's once you start adding gang members, it's live, so you can't just go and delete stuff and re-add it. So I do recommend you write down your gang, work out however you want before registering on the site, because it's very when you purchase equipment, it's a buy function, but you can actually get equipment from territories, from the people you capture.
Huh.
So yeah. So
cool.
You may start with a lot of them, but you can end up with a plasma cannon. It's very, very flexible. So you got to write down your starting gang on paper, then register it, and use buy functions, not ads. and don't add from your stash, because you do have a stash in this game too. So if your
Huh.
character's not holding, you can add it to your gang stash, like a vault that's in your turf territory. Anyway, you can, from that point on, then register it, and then you can print out your cards, and you can go from there.
That's very cool. What does the first day start?
June 28th.
Nice.
So next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Oh, that's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
People can sign up. Where do they go to sign up for the campaign?
They can go to the Giga-Bites page. They can even go to Yak Tribes once they send the PM.
Mm-hmm.
I'll actually have their official roster, and as soon as Thursday morning, I'll start creating Swish-style brackets. I'll create 2 of them.
Oh,
so every player will have at least 2 games to play every week against an close to equally matched gang rating. They will have an opportunity to play possibly 3 or 4 games if they have to rescue their captured gangers.
Ooh,
if they choose to. Yeah.
Okay.
And you have a week to do those 2 games. So, everything should be reported to me. I might appoint, based on if we get bigger, I might appoint another arbitrator for the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be a point of contact, because I am selling my house and buying a new house.
Nice. Congratulations.
So, thank you. So I hope to have another arbitrator just in case I have to miss a day or I can't be there. But we've been doing a lot of Giga games at Giga, getting ready for this campaign. A lot of people learning rules. So everybody is new to the table, realistically. No one's coming in as a pro Necromunda player. I will even be playing Necromunda myself, because there's nothing secret in this one. There's no secret turf warfare, and all the Swiss brackets I might produce on another third-party site, so it's fair to everybody.
Oh, that's very cool. Okay. How many do you have to have? Just a standard 10 models to begin with. How does a gang start, basically?
You don't need 10 models.
Okay.
There's gangs right now that are out there with 4 people. It's 1,000 credits. That's the start of the campaign.
Sorry, 1 second. Can you hear me? Sorry, I cut off your video there.
Oh.
Something in the computer switched it off. Okay, but we heard you this whole time, so we're still good.
Okay, great. Yeah. So there's no minimum and there's no maximum. Your gang is really limited by its reputation, and it's all about how big and bad you want to be. But coming out the gate, it's always boys before toys. That's my number one statement. I guess gals too, because there's female gangs and but
right. So you start off. How many credits do you start off with?
1,000.
1,000. Okay, and that gives you, I guess, because there's different types of characters, right?
You will only be able to have your 1 leader, and most gangs you can't have any more than 2 champions, right? Okay. You don't have to have 2 champions, but you can't have any more than 2. You have Jews, which Jews are the new guys. They're the guys who just kind of want to join you, but they haven't really proven their worth yet. And then you have your standard ganger. Some gangs on creation allow your ganger to have a special weapon, only 1 during the build. Otherwise, you choose from basic, those kind of weapons. You have to have a number of gangers equal to the amount of other models or more. So you'll never have less gangers than you do any other model. The idea is you can't have a gang just full of champions running around, and you can't have a gang just full of new people either.
Right.
Right. So the advancements that these particular characters take is different based on their. A leader is going to start with a skill. A champion is going to start with a skill, but gangers and Jews do not. So their advancement is different. Jews are fast learners, so they'll get skills quicker. But gangers roll on a different chart. Gangers can become specialists, and they can further be promoted from a specialist to a champion. And if your leader ever dies, it's an opportunity for a champion to be promoted. So your gang is always going to be moved. It's always fluid. It's never going to be the same thing. If you have Tom, who started as a Jew, 4 games in, that Tom cannot be a specialist carrying around a heavy flamer. And he could be booking experience points under his belt for all the kills that he's getting. So maybe one day he'll be the gang leader. So
Interesting. So, in terms of the stats that you roll for, this one's a little more complicated than traditional 40K in that you have things, I guess, like kind of shock effects and stuff. What are the different kind of stats that you have different from 40K?
okay, so it's really doing a throwback to 40K seventh edition,
Hmm.
where you have traits on all your weapons. But Yak Tribe makes it really, really helpful to produce a. You can also print out a rule sheet specific to your game,
Ooh.
kind of like how Battlescribe does at the very
Hmm.
bottom. When, by the way, all your game creations are in Battlescribe as well. They do a pretty good job at keeping up with it, and there's only like 2 developers on it, so you can also build your game in Battlescribe and then also
Nice.
transcribe that to Yak Tribe. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, all of your traits, you have shock, you have burn, you have poison, you have toxin, you have gas. They're very, it is adding a level of complexity to the game, but nothing is easy down in Five.
That's cool. Now, in this one, it's alternating activations for each model, right?
Right. If you're a fan of XCOM or any turn-based video game or board game, you'll probably like this gameplay. It's a lot like Shadespire. You
Hmm.
take turns going back and forth. Leaders can activate 2 other people with them.
Ooh.
Champions can activate 1 other people with them. And of course, there's rules and items that do bend those rules a little bit, such as like the cult icon for the Gene Stealer cult gang. If the guy's holding the flag, he's considered like a leader for activation. There's skills like Inspiring Presence that allow you to activate 1 other fighter within 4 inches. Well, so,
It's cool. For someone that's just starting off, could they just get a gang box, or is it recommended they get the starter for all the different stuff inside?
we had a new player come by yesterday, and he asked the same exact question. And I said, well, it depends how much you want to get into this. How much will you love this game? I plan to have all of the tools needed for a new player to come in,
Hmm.
and I always encourage anyone to purchase any retail from Giga-Bites, of course. Um, supplies are always there. So,
Hmm.
so I don't tell people, oh, if you want to play this game, you're going to need $300 off the bat, right? But Necromunda has a very low uh, price point, $40 for a game, and you really only need to build the models you need. You can leave the rest on the sprue until you need them. Or you build the whole box and you have a standard 1,500 credit skirmish. So you can just show up and just, hey, let's do a skirmish, non-campaign game.
Hmm.
So that's available as well. But if you want the base rule book, which is the thorough rules, that only comes in the base box. Fortunately, there's no other tools. There's no other tools available to help you with base rules. There is a cheat sheet which is available free online, necromunda.com, that Games Workshop does offer its players, and then the very confusing part is each Gang Wars book has different rules on each game, and and different campaign things.
Yeah, that's
And different
GW's classic. I guess
Yeah, the index
the
codex.
equivalent of a codex creep, right?
Right. And the idea is, and everybody's thinking, I think they heard word from London GP that GW will produce a compendium at the end once Delac comes out. So Delac is the last of the main houses.
Hmm.
They're going to produce a solid book with all of those gangs inside of it.
Oh, sweet.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's just rumor right now, but we're all looking forward to that. Now there are a lot of tools online that help consolidate those rules for you. I'm going to let each player access that on their own will, because even when someone asks me, I'll provide a PDF maybe of the white dwarf, but then I still urge them, this is kind of, you still need proof of purchase, right? So then
Hmm.
they do end up going to Gigabytes to purchase the Gang War book just to have the solid copy.
Yeah, it's
I
always
do it.
useful to have, like if I buy my codex for a PDF, because I personally prefer to have the online version, you still kind of need that physical copy, especially for things like tournaments. You said that their last week was going to be an event. Will you think you'll run any Necromunda tournaments?
Well, you mean like a skirmish-based tournament?
Yeah.
We played around with the idea. I even did a let's play a day a couple times using some skirmish-based rules, and they were pulled right out of the play packet for London GP.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we did some of the missions on there, and our players found that those missions were exceptionally brutal.
Hmm.
And I had to explain to them they did it to close out the tournament with a bang. And the
Right.
whole point is everybody know that the underhive always wins. No matter how strong the gang is, always wins.
It is
So
grimdark for a reason.
yeah, right, exactly. You are trudging around in the darkness of unknown territory. Uh, but I do want to do a tournament. I think maybe based on how the season turns out and everybody's on board, I believe people are going to want to reuse those models that they built and maybe bring their special characters back into a tournament mindset. But it would be a scenario where you're building a 1,500 point gang with a already set reputation like a 15, and it would allow you to bring in hired guns and bounty hunters, and you would play in that setting, and it'd be a slow grow tournament, or maybe a fast grow tournament. Sorry, where each round it would be considered like its own week, like we were going to play, in a campaign.
That'd be cool.
So it'd be a quick narrative. It'd be a quick narrative thing. Kind of, I think Rob Bristow had did something recently, or is doing something soon with 40K. So it'll be coming soon. There's not very many examples to pull from, so it will be a very interesting event. I'll be working closely with Travis at Yak Tribe Games. I've already got kind of an idea on a tournament packet. He's going to forward me some materials, so we hope to get something soon. But I want to do it after the picking, most definitely.
That's sweet. How can people reach you if they have any other questions?
I'm available through Facebook, multiple groups. So if you PM me there, I'm always able to respond. If I don't, if you message me at 1 in the morning, I'm not going to respond. But I'm always available, and I'm at the store almost every Thursday, open to close.
That's awesome. And then you'll also be able to demo games for people in case they want to see what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. I demoed 2 games yesterday. So,
awesome.
Yep. And I usually end up arbitrating more than playing. So if you want to play a game against me, that's great. But I would rather have you play a game with someone who's less experienced. So that way, it's not so intimidating.
Right.
And it's more fun for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. And usually when I'm at Giga, I only usually play 1 game a day while I'm there. The rest is arbitrating, just talking about lore, new books, things coming out. And it's not just Necromunda Day. There's 40K going on that day. It's a very large casual and or skirmish day. We had some people playing Dark Age. But it's just the day, we call it Rebel Thursday. That's kind of what our group calls it. But everyone's more than welcome to drop by and ask for any sort of game.
That's awesome, man. Sweet. Yeah, so if y'all are interested in a campaign that's fun, it's non-competitive in the sense of it's not an aggressive tournament or anything like that, or one where you've got to get the most points, and if you don't, then no, it's not like that. It's super casual, right? Right.
If you didn't make it to the Overlord in season 1, that just means season 2 is your chance to shine, because in the Apotheosis, it's brutal, and those people who are at the top of the bracket, they're going to be losing. They might have a lot of casualties in their game, or they're going to have to choose to retire those seriously injured. A guy with a broken leg or a head injury will be his willpower, and whose cool checks are less, or people with less movement or less ballistic skill because they took an eye injury. That's when you decide to retire your model. So if you feel like you didn't do great at season 1, season 2 is going to be even better, because the battlefield has been leveled, because those top dogs have done their damage. So I think I urge people, if you feel like it's ever too competitive, or if you don't have a chance, it's a dice game, and it's narrative. It's how you build your gang. It's what direction you go, and the decisions you make is how you're going to end up. And that's the same with any role-playing game. Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Starfinder, Rifts, Shadowrun. You're gonna have the same scenario.
That's awesome. I gotta tell you, if I was down there, man, I would be there definitely for that campaign. If there's one thing that I love, it's like proper narrative stuff that's fun like that, where all kinds of crazy stuff can happen. That sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then even after Necromunda, we're probably going to bring around, if the new rules for Kill Team are out, we're going to bring that. That'll be a league-based play, not less narrative, more league.
Okay.
And then if that's not out yet, those rules set, GW hasn't released it yet, then we are going to go to season 2 of Shadow Wars. And that's a turf-based where it's grid pattern. People are very excited about that alone because they're like, what? You're playing Shadow Wars? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
That's more, it's not as role-playing. It has an element, but nowhere in the depths of Necromunda. But people love it because we bring out your 40K models. And that's the biggest appeal. And it was a big hit. We had 13 players in season 1.
Heck yes.
And I hope I got a lot of feedback. A lot of people weren't getting their games in. So there's going to be a minimum game. So there's some rules that will change for season 2 just to make sure everyone has a fair advantage. My daughter won season 1.
Wow.
So she's 10. So,
is she like an Ender, like a tactical genius?
I don't know. I think she's just weird, to be honest. I think she's very, she's very competitive, and she really doesn't bow down to the intimidating aspect of having grown men on that side of the table. And that's the great thing. So it was a win for the Tyranids, and everyone's excited about it. But she will probably return in season 2, and she's looking forward to it. She's not a big Necromunda fan because she loves her Tyranids. She loves the alien aspect. I'm thinking she'll come back for Shadow War or Kill Team.
You're raising her right.
She did that decision on her own. So, so we're looking forward to just these all new seasons of skirmish roleplay, and just hope people come out and give it a shot. If you don't have a gang, I have every single one of them. So if you want to try something, just like the demo yesterday, he wanted to try out Goliaths. He ended up buying a whole starter pack because he just loved the Goliaths. So if you want to try something, just let me know and we'll get you in.
Yeah, and we stock all the gangs at the store pretty much all the time.
Yes, yeah. It was fully stocked yesterday. So
sweet, that's awesome. Awesome, Ricky, thanks so much for joining me today. Y'all check out yaktribe.games and then the event on our Facebook page. So if you go to Giga-Bites Cafe, you look up at the tabs and look for events. I think it's one of the weekly ones. You'll see the icon that says Atlanta Gangs of Necromunda, and that's the one that you want to click on. That's the campaign that starts on the 28th next Thursday. So sign up for it. Get excited. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for joining me, Ricky. Everybody, have a great weekend. Come out and play. Anything else you want to share?
Oh, no, I'm good. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Sweet. Thanks, man. All right.
Thanks.
Go play Giga-Bites, y'all. Have a good weekend.